One of my favorite things about kids is how unique they are in their faith. There's no perfect way to relate with all of them. There's no science behind how to communicate with them. God's created each of them uniquely with a plan and a purpose for how He is going to lead them toward Himself. And because every child is unique, we've outlined a journey to help kids understand and grow in a relationship with Jesus at their own pace. That faith journey is called KidSteps. Now, I want to tell you a story about a child who has grown up in our ministry. She's 9 years old today, but her journey began long ago. Her name is Julia. See, Julia is the type of kid you like to have around when you're trying to comprehend an elementary math problem, but maybe not the kid you want to have in your car on a 12-hour road trip. You know, she's that super smart kid who knows everything at school, but has a million questions about the world. And around age 5, Julia began asking questions about how God fit into her world. She didn't really understand how a person could raise from the dead and not be a zombie, and definitely didn't understand how a person she could not see loved her so much. Her parents were frustrated. They were teaching her about God any chance they got, using the resources from the church, but it seemed like the more they taught her, the more questions she had. We fast forward to when Julia was 7. She was sitting at the dining room table with her parents, and she tells them she's decided that she wants to follow Jesus. Now her parents were shocked. She was just asking questions last week about God, and they thought she was still not understanding the gospel. Now all of a sudden she's decided she wants to follow Jesus? Was this even real? How would they know if she was ready? They decided to wait until they could get to Faith Promise that weekend and connect with one of our kids pastors. The FP Kids pastor invited them to attend our KidSteps experience. See, the KidSteps experience is created to help you and your child understand the gospel in a kid-friendly way and resource you to take whatever step your child has next. They participate in the KidSteps experience only to find out that Julia's skepticism about being raised from the dead had transformed into her understanding that it was an expression of love for her. They learned that the Holy Spirit has power to ignite the gospel in the hearts of a child and change the way they understand Him. As a family, they walked away in awe of the work that the Holy Spirit had done in their child. The next week, as they began to prepare for her baptism, they discovered that their sweet, question-asking Julia was still there. She had questions on questions about why baptism was important, what the water was going to feel like, and who was going to be watching. Now, knowing the importance of baptism, her parents encouraged her to take the next step, even though she was a little bit nervous about the experience. And on the day of her baptism, her small group leader from FP Kids, Natalie, met her in the baptism area. She prayed over her and celebrated her baptism. She showed her where the water was, let her feel it, and even talked to her through the whole experience. Julia was able to be herself, ask her questions, get her answers, and now walk in the new and growing faith she had. After her baptism, her whole family celebrated together. Julia's 9 years old now and still in our ministry. And just like any child, Julia has tendencies to forget about spending time in her Bible or committing to a strong prayer life. She still argues with her little brother and sometimes gets in trouble at school for talking, but Julia is still an imperfect kid. But now, Julia is taking steps with Jesus to know who He is and to become more like Him every day. Even though she messes up, she loves God today more than she ever has, and she loves sharing who He is with the people she meets. God has an incredible plan for Julia's life, and we love watching her and her family grow. See, every adult has a different story, and every child has a different story. Every child's path to knowing and growing in a relationship with Jesus is different. And KidSteps was created to help support kids and families wherever their kids are in their journey. We believe that kids go through 4 different phases in discipleship. And those are, first, asking questions about who God is and what He did for them. Next, they choose to begin a relationship with Jesus. After that, they are preparing for baptism and then taking steps with Jesus. In every phase, your child will process new things and experience God in a new way. And our goal in FP Kids is to support you, equip you, and partner with you as you walk alongside your child. As parents, our job is to teach our kids to love the Lord our God with all our hearts, with all our soul, and with all our strength. Deuteronomy 6 keeps going and says, as parents, we should write the commandments on our hearts. Make sure that our children learn them. Talk about them when we're at home, when we're on the road, when we go to bed, and when we get up. Our job as parents is to create a space where our children learn to love God and give them time to walk the journey to know Him in the way that is best for them. Every child has their own faith journey, and every child has their own story, but every child will walk through the KidSteps in their own time. For more information and resources on each of the KidSteps, keep watching our videos below. It's an honor to get to partner with you to help your child grow in a relationship with Jesus.